Today I'll be sharing day 2 of my husband's accident. In a previous video I had ended with that the night of his accident he ended up going back into surgery because he had hemorrhaged. And if you haven't listened to that one yet, go back to the previous video so that you're all caught up. So in the last video I had ended with my father-in-law, sister, and myself on our way back to the hospital very late that evening because we had gotten a phone call saying that, for one, his vitals were crazy high, and we're told that there was nothing they could do. It turned out he had hemorrhaged again, and I had told them to put him back into surgery to see if there was anything they could do. So after getting back at the hospital, waiting a couple more hours, at this point it's in the middle of the night, the surgeon came out and said that it turned out, because at the time my husband only had two or three drains in his head the first surgery, so when he first got in. And it turned out one of the drains was completely clogged up, and the other drain that was in his head was in the process of clogging up, causing him to hemorrhage. So what they did is they were able to clean out the drains, and they were able to save him and put in 5 drains this time to ensure that didn't happen again. We're very relieved, of course, that it was resolved, and it wasn't like we were told, like, oh, we can't do anything, there's nothing we can do. It turned out there was something they could do. Nothing much happened the day after the accident, so I'll skip that one and go on to the day that we were told long term, what his injuries were, what we'd be facing, what he would be facing long term. But before that, there is one thing that happened the day after his accident, and that was the sergeant who was at the scene. At the time, they could not find his wallet, so they couldn't identify him properly. They just had to go off of what I was telling them and all that stuff. Well, they'd found his wallet, and he came to the hospital to drop it off, and he just in passing asked how my husband was doing. And I said, well, it's actually, he had hemorrhage during the night, kind of explained the situation. And I said, this morning we actually were told that he is stable, which was true. It was amazing. He was stable. And he was in disbelief. He said, I will tell you right now, when I was the person that walked up to his vehicle when the accident happened, and I could have swore I was going to walk up to a dead body in the vehicle. And I was so shocked to see that he still had a pulse. He was unconscious, but he still had a pulse. He was alive. So he goes on to say that he was surprised that he was still alive in the car, but in his head was thinking, this guy's not going to make it to the hospital. I'm surprised he's not dead yet. He's not going to make it through today. In the year that he was stable and everything, he was even more in shock. And like in the previous videos, I've shown the pictures of his vehicle, and he said several times, I can't believe this guy's still alive. He's stable. Are you sure? And we're like, we're pretty darn sure. And so having his perspective on it kind of gave us more like, whoa, yeah, this is definitely a miracle. So that was kind of the only thing I remember happening that day. But in the next video, I will move on to our talk with his medical team, his injuries, which of course I said in the first video, he has a pretty severe TBI. We'll share what we were told, how we responded. And in future videos, we'll kind of explain how he started to recover and then didn't, and where we are now. But in the meantime, please like, share, subscribe. Also leave a comment down below to share your thoughts. I love reading the comments, so please do. And I hope my videos will leave you encouraged or inspired, or maybe you're in a similar situation and you can totally relate to what we're going through. But stay tuned for the next video and have a great week.